After several days of continuous rains, the city of Chennai is trying to come to terms with the worst rainfall in the month of November in the last 39 years. As the rainfall subsides, waterlogging remains a current problem, and there is a fear about waterborne diseases spreading in the city.
The rains may have tapered in India's fourth largest city, but problems continue to mount. Chennai witnessed incessant rains, breaking records of the last 39 years. Many areas and low-lying parts of the city are still waterlogged. Discharge from the Chembarambakam lake has added to the waterlogging woes.
Last 3 days we doesn't have electricity facility here, we doesn't have drinking water there.
So my wife and my kids are waiting in the platform. The poor service has been given by the Southern Railway.
काफी लोग यहाँ पे परेशान में हैं, जाने का दिक्कत बहुत ज़्यादा हो रहा है इनको.
Stranded people were airlifted by the Indian Air Force team from affected areas. The Army and the NDRF teams are using boats to rescue people. Chief Minister Jayalalitha announced 500 crore rupees for relief and rehabilitation. But the opposition criticized the state government for the lack of civic preparedness for handling monsoon fury in the state.
ஆனால் எச்சரிக்கை பற்றி இவர்கள் கவலைப்படவில்லை. ஏனென்றால் நேற்றைய தினம் முதலமைச்சர் அம்மையார் ஜெயலலிதா அவர்கள் மழை வெள்ளத்தை பார்வையிடுவதாக ஒரு காலங்கடந்து ஒரு நாடகத்தை நடத்துவதற்கு அவர் சென்னைக்கு பல இடங்களுக்கு வந்திருக்கிறார்.
More than 100 lives have been lost to rain-related deaths, but the Corporation Commissioner denies that the civic body slipped up.
Most of the outlying areas which were added to Chennai Corporation about 4 years ago, unfortunately do not have a drain network. They were all belonging to earlier erstwhile panchayats and municipalities.
Though the Met Department has predicted that the worst is over, Chennai is still struggling to pick up the pieces of the devastation caused by the depression in the Bay of Bengal.
The main difficulty is we didn't get the food first of all. We didn't get the milk, groceries.
Now we don't know what to do. The water level is still the apartment. Now we are shifting to our latest home.
The Chembarambakam lake has been let off after it reached the maximum level of water. That's one of the reasons that why the water levels has reached up to 14 to 15 feet in Chennai, which has not happened in the recent past. In Chennai, Srisha Reddy for India Today.
I want to now go across live to Chennai. Joining us is Vikram Kapoor, is the Commissioner of the Corporation of Chennai. Thank you, Mr. Kapoor, for joining us. It's been a tough 72 hours, but a lot of people in Chennai talking about how what Chennai saw over the past few days, in great part at least, seems to have been a man-made disaster. If the municipal corporation had actually been alert, executed the contracts in right earnest, supervised them properly, ensured that the drainage and sewerage systems were in order, then a lot of the chaos that we've seen over the past 3 days could have been avoided, Mr. Kapoor.
Rahul, just would like to first place things in perspective. For one, it's not that we were not prepared. We have been in fact preparing for this moment for the past 6 months. In fact, we've done such a detailed micro-planning that as many as 588 spots were identified which were prone to inundation in the past years. They were systematically plotted, the reasons for their inundation were worked out, the remedial actions were taken up, and wherever we could not do, we identified pump sets, installed them, identified the agencies who would be able to help us in case of shortfall. All this activity took nearly 6 months, several rounds of coordination, meetings with various departments like fire services, Metro Water, Public Works Department. And it's only because of all these activities, all this planning, that today we are in a position that despite rainfall, which is sometimes like 6 times more than what was in the comparable period. If you take the period from 28th of October...
No, we ran this morning, sir, an interview with the DMK Chief Karunanidhi's son MK Stalin, and he told my colleague T.S. Sudhir that there's been mass corruption in the awarding of contracts. In fact, several employees of the municipal corporation in Chennai, going back to July 2014, have been writing about how accounts are being fudged, expenses being exaggerated, infrastructure being created only on the books, not being created on the ground. How seriously have you investigated these charges, and how do you respond to the attacks coming from the DMK?
Well, Rahul, I would not like to comment on political statements, but I can tell you that under the leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister, this is one of the cleanest and the most transparent administrations you could get. Today, for instance, if you see our bus route roads that are being built, nearly 194 of them, we have completed almost all of them. These are one of the finest roads, and the people of Chennai will stand testimony to it. They are one of the finest roads. Some of the roads are such that they will last for 5 to 7 years, minimum even 10 years, because of the huge amount of effort we put in quality control and third-party monitoring. I can assure you that there is no compromise on corruption. If even there is any kind of a whiff of corruption, we take stringent action.
How do you respond, Mr. Kapoor, to all the angry Chennaites who are watching this broadcast now, very upset with the slow response of the Commission? They feel that the city was caught napping, that the response wasn't fast enough. Now we're seeing things move, but they feel for the past 72 hours their lives have been miserable, and they're blaming the Chennai Corporation for failing to get its act together.
Well, I don't know where you are getting your facts from, because we are getting feedback which is very positive from most of the citizens. They also appreciate that because of this huge downpour, there are natural reasons. The water levels are high in the rivers, in the canals, therefore water cannot be pumped out. Despite that, the government, on the instructions of the Honorable Chief Minister and the Chennai Corporation, have actually been giving relief at an unprecedented scale. Till date, more than 13 lakh food packets have been distributed. 200 medical camps are being organized every day. Water is being pumped, despite the fact that it's very difficult to pump out water in such a kind of a situation. I understand that there is bound to be public anger when they face such a deluge. But at the same time, we also find that people are understanding. Our officers are in the field.
Okay.
To just give you one example, yesterday 18,000 cusecs of water was let out into the Adyar River because the Chembrambakam Lake, our main source of water, actually surplused. Advance warning was given to the public with the help of the local administration. People were moved, 20,000 people were moved overnight by the corporation.
Okay, Mr. Kapoor, now we're seeing the water levels recede, but there's still several reports coming in of waterlogging in low-lying areas of Chennai. Now, waterlogging always brings with it the threat of waterborne diseases. What is your corporation doing to ensure that in the aftermath of the floods, people don't start falling ill because of all the water that started to accumulate?
Yes, that's a very real threat, and for that, all our health teams have been deployed in all our 200 wards. We are ensuring that wherever there is any report of any water contamination happening, immediately the pipes are being disconnected and water supply is being given through protected water supply through tankers. The chlorine levels are being checked to ensure that there is adequate chlorine in the water. We are visiting house by house to educate people about the need for safe practices. As many as 200 camps, 216 camps have been conducted every day. 30,000 people have attended only today itself. Any fever case is being immediately treated. So we are taking all precautions to ensure that diarrheal diseases and other kind of...
Okay, I'm going to leave it over there. Vikram Kapoor, chairperson of the Chennai Corporation, for joining me on the newsroom tonight. Thank you very much.
जहाँ तक याद आती रहेगी